project, so we'll get straight on to the designing. So we're going to be doing a card for a girl who's absolutely crazy about horses. So we're going to be using this rocking horse image that I got off the Silhouette store. I'm not actually going to be doing it as a rocking horse, but I just really like the shape of the horse. So let's pop that onto the mat. And then the first thing I want to do is ungroup my images because I want to remove this element. Whoops. Okay, so I want to get rid of the rocking part. Let's ungroup again. It doesn't seem to have completely ungrouped. Okay. So just going through those elements, I could have used my shift button and picked up all of them, but I'll just go through them and ungroup. Okay, so now we're going to group these back together so that we can resize. If you resize one element without grouping them, it makes it more difficult to try and get the proportions right, so it's easier to do that first. Okay, so I'm just going to put my horse in the corner here and see. It's going to be about 3 inches by 4 inches, so it's a little bit small. It's going to be on an 8 by 8 card, so I probably want it. Let's have a look. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 by 5, I would say that is. So let's do that a bit bigger still. So it's counting across from the corner here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's probably 6 by the time you put that other leg on. And the tail, so that's 6 by 1, 2, 3. I've done that one, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about 6 by 5. So again, I think that's probably a good size. So let's now go about separating them all. Okay, so that's the size. So that's all good. So let's separate these out. So the first thing we just do is do that and ungroup. Now you need to remember that when you ungroup, that happens. So you have like all the elements literally ungrouped. So you need to make sure that you then group together again the bits that need to be grouped together. So yeah, that does need it. It's got a little hoof. Needs doing. Actually, let's move away the ones that we know about already. Oh, let's see if we do that one right. See if that works. There we go. We move out the way the bits that we've already grouped. That makes it a bit easier. Oops. So now we need to put these elements within their colour groups. So to do that, it's quite often easier to go back to your image and see what goes together. So we obviously know the 2 back legs here are a different colour to the main body of the horse. So let's go back to our mat. So this leg and this leg go together. This piece goes with something. The horse, the mane goes over here. The horse itself can go up here. Actually, I'm going to put the horse over in the other corner in a minute. And the reason is because of the shape of it. It just gives me a chance to, I think that might go with that, to use the paper more economically, just because of the way, you know, I might be able to put something else there if there's something I need in that colour. Okay. Okay, so then we've got the mane and the tail, and I assume that's the little forelock, so that all goes together. And then if we look at the picture again, we've got the saddle and the bridle are the same colour. So the saddle and bridle. And then we've got the rug piece or whatever it is, and that can go in the middle here. Okay, so that's all our elements set out on the page. So now all we need to do is find the card that we want and put those on the mat and start cutting. Okay, so here's our paper loaded up. So I've got a couple of different purples, sort of purpley pinks, and some pinks for the actual horse. So we just load our mat. I'm just going to go back to the computer and send to machine. I just need to do the blade depth as well. Okay, so that's just finished. And I had to pause it because my mat's getting a little bit less sticky now, so I paused it for a second and just put some spray adhesive on the backs of these cards so that it would stay stuck down. But I've got 2 of each of the images in different sizes because I thought I would make a second one of these. So it's cut out really nicely. So let's go back to the table and start pulling these off the mat and putting this together. Okay, so I've peeled the pieces off the mat and I've laid them out. It took a few minutes to work out what went in what order and exactly the position of the legs because they were loose. So I've laid those out now and I can see where I need to stick what. So for example, like the mane obviously here has to be stuck down after these elements because otherwise they're going to be underneath, so that's going to be wrong. So that's given me that chance to work that out. Okay, so let's just very gently move this, and I've got some wet glue and I've got some tweezers, and I'm just going to work my way back. I think the first thing I need to stick down is the legs, so let's just take the tail sadly bits off and let's stick down the legs. So I think it's a sort of about here. And I wanted to use this wet glue rather than a zig because it's it needs to be strong, I think. So let's slide the leg underneath. And I did notice that when I put it on before it looked kind of strange until I put the tail on. Cool. Now let's do the other one. So that needs to be there and a little bit on there. There. And this, whoops, this glue does dry clear, so you've got to, you know, it doesn't matter so much if it's not quite in the right position. Okay, so that's that one done. And now I needed to put the tail, I think, is next. Let's see, is it above this? I think this came next, actually. So this pops up to the front of the horse. And don't worry, that'll dry. That's just a baby wipe. And then the saddle. It's probably one of the easiest ones to position. I think that is the one thing that I missed from the cricket on here. One of the things that I miss from the cricket is that actually with the book it makes it so much easier because you can have it right there. I know you've got the picture on the computer, but it's so small that it makes it a lot more difficult. Okay, we're going to do his tail next. So it's on the end here and this bit here. Silly. Just put a line of glue on our horse here rather than on the actual mane, because then we haven't got the worry sticking or not. Hopefully that's correct. I'm just going to quickly position this one so that I can make sure. Oops. Actually, I'm going to pull this piece off because I don't want it to stick and be in the wrong place, because I've just realised we need this piece on first so that we can position the other piece correctly. And that goes like that, I think. We kind of really need both together, so let's kind of be quickly and put them both on at the same time. So that we know that that's in the correct place then. As long as you don't overdo the baby wipe on the glue, on the paper, it's fine. Well, I find it dries off fine, but if you keep doing it, it wears it away. Now, I wasn't sure. I think this goes on first now, before the little other piece. So that goes in like so, and then we put the little forelock on. The last little piece, I'll tell you what, I just noticed though, I'm going to stick that down because that wasn't stuck. There we go. A little bit of, and then one more piece. Doesn't he look gorgeous? I'm really pleased with that. Oh, we better work out which way this goes first before we start putting the glue on. I'm assuming it goes like that. Yep. There we go. Okay, so that's the horse done. I think he looks really cute. Really pleased with that. Now you notice that here the eye, it didn't have a piece, so I'm going to get a scrap of black and I'm just going to stick it on the back here so that it fills that in. Okay, so I didn't have black to hand, but I actually decided that I'd prefer to use some of this sort of really dark navy because it's kind of in keeping with the purple that I've already put on. That's a bit too big even. Just rip that down to just a very small piece and just glue that over the back, and then you can see from the front you now have a nice eye. We're going to put that to one side and let that dry, and we're going to work on the card. Okay, now for the card, I'm doing an 8x8 scalloped card. I'm going to be using this paper from Anna Griffin, which is her Lizzie collection. And there's some really lovely, fun bright patterns in here. Probably sort of unusual to what you'd expect to be for Anna Griffin. Okay, so we're using that, and I've already cut my pieces to size. So what I've got here first of all is a piece to go on the inside, so I want to stick that down first of all. So that's just one of those pieces cut down to fit exactly, and then you very slightly can see it on the outside of the card. It's very marginal, but it just gives that little finish rather than it being white on the inside. Now I'm not going to use my wet glue for this. I think I'm going to use the ATG because it is paper, so I don't want it to get all rumply on me. Okay, start up this side actually, so I want to be sure. And this is why you don't cut prior to putting it on the page, because it's much harder to line it up. There we go. It's down, and I'm going to round the corners first though, using my corner chomper, and I'm going to do it on a 1/2 inch setting. You can use the wet glue for this. Turn it over, pop it in position. Advantage of this paper, you can line it up. Just check. There we go. Okay, and then we'll put some sort of sentiment in that, or a stamp on that once we've done the front and it's all dry. For the front, now you can see you've got that lovely pattern just showing through. I've cut a piece of mirror board to go on, and then this lovely heart paper, which is a really nice colour, I think, to go with that. It just really makes it stand, you know, really fun. The first thing I need to do before I do that is around the corners of this one as well, because the corners of the scallops make it rounded. So I'm going to stick my paper to my mirror board, and then I'll use my, and then I'll wrap my ribbon around the mirror board before I stick that down. So let's put that to one side. And just to give me some slide time with the ATG, just one of these glue sticks, and just run over the ATG. You still get the strength because this will kind of dissolve away, but it just gives you a few minutes to slide it into position, because you know it's very difficult sometimes to marry these up perfectly. Well, that's the theory anyway, but you have to be reasonably quick still. There we go. Got a small amount, a very small amount of mirror board around the edge. I just wanted like just a teeny bit of glisten. I don't know if you can even catch it in this light. See, there you go. So that's that piece done. So now let's go and have an investigate on what we can do about our horse. Okay, so we're back at the silhouette, and we're just looking to create the shadow for the larger horse. So, okay. The problem I've got, of course, is that because it's in pieces, is putting it together in exactly the same position as how I've stuck it. So let's create a new mat. Copy the elements over that we need. I think that's everything. Make it down smaller. Okay, so now let's go to our trace buttons and select the trace area, and then trace outer edge only, and then if we move that, we have, I'm just going to take this image, and I'm going to copy it and paste it over here just to keep it safe. Oops. I'm going to go back here so it's just kept safe out the way, and then I can delete this one. And hopefully this is the correct size. So now we need to do the offset, so we need to have an external offset. Oh, I haven't selected my thing. Offset. Okay, so I want that slightly less than that. Okay, so that's good. Now I don't want that little piece in the middle. I don't know if it will. Yes, it will. So then I'm going to delete. That's got rid of that little point. So we have an option as well later of playing around with getting these. If we need to, we can alter it by using the little points. So let's put one up there, and then one here. Okay, so now let's go and load our mat and cut this out and hope that this works. So I've loaded my paper, so I've got a silver mirror card and I've got the dark purple, so I haven't loaded it, I've loaded it onto the mat I should say. So we just pop this in and pop that down, and then we'll send from the silhouette, from the software to the silhouette I should say. Okay, so that's done. And fingers crossed now that this will fit. So let's just go and find our little pony. Let's just take the purple off. It looks quite good, so hey. Now that was lucky or what? Pleased with that. Okay, so now let's see the silver behind that as well. There you go. Okay, so let's see if that looks okay on the actual card now, or whether that looks wrong. Okay, so let's go back to the table. Okay, I've actually had another look and I think that I prefer it without the silver on this particular occasion for this. I'm going to be really sparkling this up, and I just personally think the silver is just one layer too many on here. So I'm going to leave that layer for another time, or some scrap. So I'm going to adhere my horse flat onto this layer. Oops. So, and then because I'll 3D the horse on the actual card but not on here, and also I want to put glitter or gems and things all on it to really sparkle it all up. I don't think it needs that extra. Now looking at this, I'm thinking I might need to put put my glue gel on this, because although it's not wanting it to be 3D, it is got different layers, and I'm not entirely convinced that the like where the tail is a bit heavier, I think it will look strange if I don't. It won't glue down, that's what I'm trying to say, because it's slightly lower. There we go. Okay, so let's just pop this down. So we'll just leave that to dry for a little while, and while that's drying we're going to put the card base together. Now I said I wanted some ribbon or something on there, and I found this gorgeous, really gorgeous trim, I guess, really, and it's all kind of sequins and stuff, and it's just perfect colour, I think. So just unravel it a bit, and we're going to want it about there and about that much. So if we just grab the scissors, just making sure that's the way up I want. Yep, so it's going to be about there. Didn't really need to go all the way across, but anyway, not to worry. Again, in there. That's better. And then just snip about there and stick that down. So we've got that beautiful shine, so we're going to just stick that now to the card base. I think for safety we will use the glue gel just to be absolutely sure that it stays put, because it's a stronger glue, and we've got our trim on the back here. I'm not actually trying to get any particular height on it, so I don't need to have big blobs, just enough so that it doesn't sink, because of that you've got some height from the trim, so you need it not to sit completely flat, because then the difference that the trim makes is not, it's going to show, it's going to look like a bump, whereas if you have it very slightly raised, you're not going to notice that. The glue gel. Okay, I'm going to be opening to the side, so we need to just position this down nice and carefully to make sure that our scallops show, and then I'm just giving it a bit of a, not too much of a squish because you don't want it to all squelch out, but I don't want it too dimensional either, just enough to stop the trim being a bump. And then just give it a curve, because sometimes the wet glues just make it do that. Okay, so that's that all put on. And now we need to put our horse on. Just looking to see as if I could put like a knot with this trim, or whether that wouldn't work, because it's so very one-sided. And I'm not convinced. Oh, look at that, I might have done it. Even myself then. Didn't think that would happen. I just twisted it and I haven't tied it really, really tight. And I'm now going to take a bit of my glue gel and blob it underneath so that that just holds that in place. And there we go, so that'll set and it'll be perfect. Okay, so let's put this pony on. That over, and let's put glue gel on the back of the horse. Now we want this quite dimensional. Now let's going over that, so just about there is going to be the flattest point, so let's put a bit of glue there that's not too heavy, because obviously it's going to be raised already because of the trim. So then we're going to put the dimension on the rest of it. Now if you've watched my videos before, you know I always put loads of glue on. I don't ever be stingy, because I just would hate, because I didn't want to put on that extra piece of foam tape, that it came off or it dipped in the post, because you know, if you haven't put a lot of foam tape on, I know it's more costly, but if you don't do it, then when it goes in the post and it gets squashed, because they will do, then it'll dip down, whereas if you put the foam tape on or the glue gel, whatever, it can't, because it's already got something protecting it. It's got the foam or the glue gel behind to stop it from falling down. Okay. So now let's take this, and I want it just about there. I want it to be like it's kind of standing up in the air. Okay, perfect. I'm going to leave well alone, I think. Quit while I'm ahead. Okay, so I need that to set, and then I shall put all the glitter and gems and things on that later. Okay, so I've just put this sentiment down, and that's one from the Hunky Dory pack that I have. I've got a number of sentiment packs from Hunky Dory, so I just picked that one out, which I think looks really cool. And this is set really well now, so it's time to start glittering and sparkling this all up. Okay, well the first thing I want to try and do is just add this tassel down to the bottom here of the card. So I'm just going to see if I can somehow, I want to shorten this a little bit, but I want to pop it around here, because we obviously were glued down, and then pop it down through there as well. What I want to do is just see what I think.
I just thought it might look fun having that hanging just down off the card like that. Just an extra something. So I'm just going to see now if I can tie that. Oh, because it's obviously it's really long, so what I'm tying it around really is just the blob of glue, but by doing it at the top as well, it means that I can cut the tassels really short because it's already been tied at the bottom. This is just almost tying off the little threads. I really ought to have my small scissors. But anyway, and there we go. And there's a little dark bead on this particular one, so I'm just going to cut that off, which obviously loosens off some beads, but we'll just get rid of those because I just didn't like that extra dark because that was obviously not right. So we've got that now, that's better. And I just think that just again just gives a little bit extra something on there. Right, now I've got some various different elements here, and I was going to put the glitter on before. I think I put the gems on before I do the glitter, I mean. So I've got some gorgeous little stars. Give that a second to dry before I work in that area again. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is put some gems along the edge of that piece. So I've got these like stripped gems, which are really cool. And again, I think it's going to be worthwhile putting a little bit of the glue gel on there. But oh, I don't know. Yeah, I think I will. Just a small amount. I just want to be really sure that it stays put. These are actually very sticky, I have to say, but I don't think it's worth taking a chance of them falling off. So I'm just working it around, and then I'm going to get some little snips because I don't want to just pick that bit up. Yeah, that was sensible. Ooh, that was lucky. Come on, up, up, up. Okay, and then I just snip, and then we can just use the scissors to put that last one in position. Oops. So that looks really cool. And again, I think I'm gonna just snip this before I put it on. So I'll put the first one on. And then I'm going to take one off the end. I think we need 3 there. And I'll just snip this last one again, the same. Idea. If I can get hold of it. That one there, put those 2, and then that one. I'm just going to lift that one very slightly and push those over, that's better. And again, just clean that up. I'm not happy with that middle one. I'm just going to take my craft knife and slit that. And And we've got 4 individual gems now, so we can position those just to, I wanted it to have that curve. There we go, that's better. Oh, oops. We're getting there, slowly. Okay, so that's our lovely sort of blankety thing. I know it's not a blanket, but I can't think what it's called. Okay, the next thing I want to do is put one of these little silver sequin things that I've got on the bridle. Okay, so now let's put a tiny blob of glue gel down, and then use my, hopefully, to release. Yeah, good theory. I think maybe we need more than one. That one's got a bit gluey, let's get rid of that one. Oops. There we go. Details like that will make all the difference, really, I think. Okay, so then the next thing I want to do is the saddle and the bridle itself. Now this is where it's going to get a little bit more messy because I want to use actual glitter. So I've got this gorgeous kind of spangle in this beautiful pink, and then a matching, well, not, it's not actually designed to be matching, but a similar colour, and that's in the hunky dory fuchsia pink. Okay, so we're going to use my glue that, from Pin Flare, but this is glue for glitter. I think it's probably just a tacky PVA. Let's do, whoa, that came out a bit quicker than I expected. Just taking the glue that came out in a huge amount. Unexpected. It's a little bit, must have been a bit warmer in here than I realised, and it's just came out loads of it. That's fine. We'll just make that work for us. Okay, so I just used again my trusty baby wipes to get rid of that, and then I am going to be using the spangle glitter. I will just pop that on. I don't think there's quite enough of that glue actually down here, so very carefully this time. Let's just put the glitter on. So it came out nice and fast. Okay, now with something like this I would give it a second to sink in before you shake it off and to adhere, because otherwise the bigger pieces, they do tend to come off. Now on this section on the saddle here, I want to do kind of certain parts of it. So I don't want to cover the whole lot, you see. Well, I do, but I don't want to cover it all the same colour, because the same style of glitter, because otherwise you'll lose the definition that we've got. So I'm going to use the thicker piece to really create my definition. So we just go up there. Okay, so that's all good, and hopefully we've got enough glitter just left over, and we're going to be using that bigger glitter again. Just sprinkle that all over the bits. Okay, so I'm going to give that a few minutes just to settle in and let it adhere. Okay, so it's had a few seconds, so we're just going to very lightly press. You don't want to press too hard because you might distort the glue that you've put down, but I just want to make sure that it's stuck in. Let's see that one there had a little bit of glue that hadn't got any on, so we're going to go back and sprinkle some more on there, on that section. It didn't quite have enough. Okay, and then tip and tap. Oh, got a sequin on the back there. Now I personally wouldn't brush off on the actual part that near where you've actually done the glittering, but that looks really pretty, doesn't it? Because it will still be wet and lumpy, but you can get the excess off that's kind of on this bit. And this is just like a little makeup brush that slides closed. I don't even know where I got it from, to be honest. But okay, so for the next part, I was originally, as you saw, I was going to use the glitter, but I was thinking two things. One was that when I put this on, I've now cleaned this up quite a lot, but when I put it on, it was sticking to the glue of the other stuff that's wet, so I, to be honest, haven't really got the patience to wait for that all to dry, because that would be really best till the next day, and I really need to get this finished so it can all dry overnight. So I've decided to use this Stickles glue, which is called Cherry Ice. I've just tested it on my craft mat and it's a really nice colour, and I think it goes with this well. Get our Cherry Ice and start. I just want it really thin. I don't want like loads of thickness of it. I just want it to be like a little thin glitter layer. And I think this will all come really nice when it's settled. I just want to take some of that off. I want to bring some of that colour through a bit more than it is. Okay, so I found this lovely Martha Stewart, and I can't even say that, charate? I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was a really nice colour. I've just tested it on my piece of scrap. So now I'm just going to carefully go around the edges here. And the thing is, I think it's going to be a bit easy using a glitter glue because it's not going to go anywhere I don't want it to go unless I'm daft. And you know, I'm not going to end up with glitter everywhere, because it wouldn't be a problem if I had time for the other stuff to dry, but I don't. So because of that, what's happening is it's sticking to the areas that I don't want it to do. So it took me some time to clear up that other bits from this lovely pink, but I'm glad we used it because it does look stunning. Okay, so that's all that done around the edge. Now I do want to just put a little one of these crystals, a big box full of them, and I want to put one just on the bridle for the bit that we managed to lose in amongst all the other stuff on this. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue gel on the back. Not sure it needs very much because there's a lot of glitter down there. Hopefully this will look okay. What I've got is some gorgeous little glittery swirls, and I was thinking that they would look quite nice up in the top, and I was looking at some of these. Let me just move this over. We've got, that's a nice cornery one. That would look quite cool up there, I think. So I didn't really want the purple because I was trying to counter the purple that was there. Just a little bit, and maybe just snip off there. If I just snip this piece just across, and that looks perhaps like a corner. And then we've got that bit which should just sit underneath our tassel, just in there. So it will still show as the tassel moves. Okay, let's stick these down. And this is a card that's obviously an exercise in understatement. I'm really going for that understated look, you know. I forgot which way I had it. That's it, wasn't it? That's it. And I'm just going to snip that piece off because I don't want that bit. Straighten that up a bit. There we go. And snip that piece off as well. So that's just made that a corner piece. And I'm going to snip this side as well. And I'm going to put that coming down from there. So I need to angle that correctly so it sits against that. There we go. Okay, so that's all of those four corners done. I think that looks really effective. Okay, so now I just want to put a little black pearl in for the eye. So I'm just going to get my glue gel and pop a bit of glue in there. It's a bit more fiddly because of where I am. Okay. And then I think we want this size, I think. There we go. Right, now I think the last thing I want to do is add my glossy accents to the whole of the horse. Just the actual horse, not the edge, I don't think at the moment, including I think over the gems and things, but we'll stick with the actual horse for the moment and we'll see how we go. So let's start at the top. What I'm hoping this will do is just make the horse pop from the page. Okay, so I have finished putting the glossy accents on the card, so we just need that to dry now so we can see just how beautiful and glossy that's going to look. So put that to one side and I will show you when the project is dry, which will probably, you know, that will be now tomorrow morning. Alright, so I'll see you in a moment. For me, a whole night. Okay, so here is the finished card. Now I've actually come out into the garden because I wanted you to see it in the sunshine because it's just so beautiful and sparkly, and I just thought there's nothing better than looking at it in the sun and seeing how wonderful, shiny and sparkly it is. So I'm really pleased with this finished card. I hope that you like it too. I'd love to hear your comments. That's the inside, and I hope you've enjoyed making this silhouette project with me, and I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.